So very good evening to all respected student members. I welcome you all for the second module in manufacturing process. Today we are going to see about the casting process and its steps carried out and what are the general types of casting, say expandable and non-expandable casting. What are the advantages attained through the casting process from the manufacturing method? So these are the things agenda we are going to discuss. Before moving to the main theme of the presentation today, we will discuss the course objectives of casting process in manufacturing. What are the main primary objectives of casting process achieved in manufacturing? So we can able to produce high complex shapes of various parts that are required to be assembled in automobile as well as in industrial machineries in less cost-effective method. So casting can be produced in high volume production run by controlling the material wastage, producing more number of parts with very good dimensional accuracy and precision. Moreover, we can enable the manufacturing of parts by producing large and heavy components for both automobile assembly as well as production industrial machinery assembly. Now let us get into the main theme of the presentation. Let us understand the basic term, what is meant by casting process through with the help of the simple elementary type of physical illustrative diagrams. So casting is considered to be one of the basic manufacturing process methods which is used to produce the final end items by using molten liquid metal as a raw material. In this process, the molten liquid metal is poured into the hollow cavity in order to produce the final expected shape of the product by allowing the molten liquid metal to solidify inside the mold cavity for a few time period. Finally, the solidified part is taken out from the die, that is from the molded die. So this is called as the final casting material. So in order to complete the entire process, finally the mold will be removed out from the mold cavity. The raw material, the final raw material will be ejected out of it. Let us see from the diagram. So these are the two metal mold boxes that are kept here. So the two boxes are joined with the help of the screw pin. So inside the mold cavity, the liquid molten metal at a very high hot temperature is poured into the hollow cavity, and then it is allowed to solidify for a few time period. After a particular time interval, after completing the solidification, the mold boxes will be removed gently by tapping out the cast product out of the mold box. So this is the final product will done by the casting process. Likewise, we can able to manufacture n number of complex shaped parts according to the different the point of application. Say automobile production purpose or the industrial machinery goods manufacturing process. For any type of application, the casting can be used as a low economical cost-effective method. What are the various key steps carried out in casting process? First one is pattern making. It is a temporary reflection of the final product we used to call as a pattern that will be created as a first thing. Next one is mold making. Once after creating the pattern, using the pattern, we can able to develop the mold which is considered to be a hollow cavity, which exactly matches the final shape of the product. Next one is melting and pouring. Here the raw material is heated to a very high temperature. Then the hot liquid molten metal is poured into the mold cavity. The next process, solidification and cooling. The molten material is allowed to cool and then it is solidified within the mold cavity. Then the solidified casting is removed from the mold. This process is called shakeout. The final casting is then trimmed, cleaned, and it may undergo heat treatment or machining before being inspected for the quality. So this is called as finishing and inspection. Next one, we are going to discuss about the general common types of casting. Say expandable mold casting and non-expandable mold casting. So here there are two subtypes which comes under sand casting and investment casting. Here we can use sand as a mold for preparing the mold cavity. After that, this mold will be broken away in order to take out the final raw product out of the mold cavity. Next one is low wax casting. This is sometimes called as investment casting. Here we can use wax material as a pattern. Using a ceramic mold, we can create a pattern and then later that will be melted away just by leaving the final cast product away from the mold. In either process, the mold cavity will be destroyed finally. So thereby we call this as an expandable mold casting. Whereas a non-expandable mold casting we call as permanent mold casting. Here we can use durable mold that can be reused for several times for producing multiple cast products. Metal die casting is one such classification available under non-expandable mold casting. Here the molten metal is injected under pressure into a hardened metal mold or a die. What are the common advantages of casting? So we can be able to produce any product with three-dimensional complex shape with less cost-effective point of view, and we can able to produce different type of metals and alloy in a more flexible way that can be casted within the less span of time. So with this basic information, I conclude the today's session. The casting process is considered to be a more versatile process, cost-effective manufacturing method for creating the complex metals, even sometimes plastic parts, in a less time-consuming way. So I thank all the student members. We will meet in the next module, different types of casting in manufacturing. Today we saw about the topic, what is casting, what are the steps involved in casting, and basic advantages of casting. According to the industrial use and classification, the next module will be different classification of casting processes in manufacturing. So once again, I thank all the members. We will meet in the next subsequent module. Thank you all.